Welcome to Quiz Moose. Are you smarter than a Canadian moose? Let's find out. And yes, that was a moose call.
Welcome to Canadian General Knowledge Trivia 2. Get ready for 20 fun questions about Canada's history, places, culture, and famous people. Each question has 4 choices, but only one is correct. See how many you can get right, and let's start the quiz. Which NHL team has won the most Stanley Cup championships? Toronto Maple Leafs, Montreal Canadiens, Edmonton Oilers, or Detroit Red Wings? Montreal Canadiens is the correct answer. The Canadiens have won 24 Stanley Cups, which is more than any other franchise in NHL history. In fact, they once won 5 championships in a row between 1956 and 1960, a feat that has never been repeated by any other team. Canada's universal healthcare system began in which province first? Ontario, Alberta, British Columbia, or Saskatchewan? The correct answer is Saskatchewan. Premier Tommy Douglas, the father of Medicare, was voted the greatest Canadian in a 2004 CBC poll. Which province is famous for producing most of Canada's maple syrup? Ontario, New Brunswick, Quebec, or Nova Scotia? Quebec is the correct answer. Quebec produces about 70% of the entire world's supply of maple syrup. Which Canadian province is the largest producer of canola oil in the world? Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, or Ontario? The correct answer is Saskatchewan. Canola stands for Canada Oil Low Acid. It was bred by Canadian scientists in the 70s. What candy bar was invented in Canada in 1944? Aero, Coffee Crisp, Crispy Crunch, or Caramilk? Crispy Crunch is the correct answer. It was created by Harold Osler of the Nielsen Company. The secret is the crispy peanut flakes. Which Canadian city is home to the oldest professional hockey team in the NHL? Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, or Quebec City? The correct answer is Montreal. The Montreal Canadiens were founded in 1909, 8 years before the NHL was even formed. Which comedian and actor is known for The Mask and Ace Ventura? Mike Myers, Dan Aykroyd, Jim Carrey, or John Candy? Jim Carrey is the correct answer. Before he was a superstar, Carrey used to perform stand-up at Yuck Yucks in Toronto. Who is the Canadian singer known for hits like Baby and Sorry? Drake, Justin Bieber, Shawn Mendes, or The Weeknd? The right answer is Justin Bieber. Bieber was famously discovered on YouTube in 2007 after posting videos of a local talent show. Which Canadian won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2013? Margaret Atwood, Carol Shields, Alice Munro, or Yann Martel? Alice Munro is the correct answer. She is often called the master of the contemporary short story. The Confederation Bridge connects PEI to which province? Nova Scotia, Quebec, New Brunswick, or Newfoundland? The correct answer is New Brunswick. It is the longest bridge in the world that crosses ice-covered water. Canada's Parliament buildings are made predominantly of what style? Art Deco, Gothic Revival, Romanesque, or Baroque? Gothic Revival is the correct answer. Look closely at the stonework. there are hundreds of hidden gargoyles and mythical creatures carved into the walls. Canada was the third country to launch what technology in 1962? Nuclear reactor, satellite, space shuttle, or radar system? The correct answer is satellite. The satellite was named Alouette 1, and it stayed in orbit for 10 years. Canada has the world's largest coastline. How long is it? 50,000 kilometers, 100,000 kilometers, 202,000, 80 kilometers, or 300,000 kilometers. (202,000, 80 kilometers is the correct answer. If you walked the entire coastline at a steady pace, it would take you over 30 years to finish. The Robertson screw was invented by a Canadian from which province? Ontario, Quebec, Alberta, or Nova Scotia? The correct answer is Ontario. P.L. Robertson invented it in Milton, Ontario, after he cut his hand using a flathead screwdriver. Which town in Alberta has an official UFO landing pad? Drumheller, St. Paul, Cardston, or Hanna? St. Paul is the correct answer. It was built in 1967 as a centennial project and even has its own UFO hotline. What animal appears on the back of the Canadian nickel? Moose, beaver, caribou, or bear? The correct answer is beaver. The beaver was chosen because the fur trade was the backbone of Canada's early economy. Canada's boreal forest is the world's largest, what? Temperate rainforest, tropical forest, intact forest, or old-growth forest? Intact forest is the correct answer. It stores more carbon than any other terrestrial ecosystem on Earth. The monarch butterfly migrates through which province in massive numbers? British Columbia, Quebec, Ontario, or Manitoba? The correct answer is Ontario. Point Pelee National Park is a world-famous rest stop for monarchs heading to Mexico. How many time zones does Canada span? 4, 5, 6, or 7? Six is the correct answer. Newfoundland time is unique because it's only 30 minutes offset from its neighbor. Which Canadian province experiences the most earthquakes? Alberta, British Columbia, Ontario, or Quebec? The correct answer is British Columbia. BC gets thousands of tiny earthquakes every year. Most are too small to feel. How did you do? Share your score in the comments and challenge a friend to beat it. If you enjoyed this quiz, like the video and subscribe for more fun trivia. Thanks for playing with Quizmoose, and we'll see you in the next quiz.